Well, it's obviously Sorry season.
Mm-hmm.
In between last week's episode and this week's episode, Beyonce has released a demo of a song called Sorry. So I think she also knew and was listening to Blink-155.
She should come on the pod.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah. No, you're right. Okay.
she's probably not ahead.
Right, yeah. This is definitely for heads only. That's cool. But we appreciate the shout out.
I just feel like it might be a bit off topic if she came on.
No, got to stay focused. I understand.
But yeah, it's clearly sorry season. It's the time of year where everyone is thinking about the word sorry and talking about it in songs, specifically us with these 2 episodes and Beyonce with an old demo.
Sort of accidentally, I feel like I had like an earnest moment a day or 2 ago and sent you like a long message just being like, hey man, I haven't been pulling my weight even more than usual. I'm really sorry about it.
That was a really interesting message because I think you were trying to italicize words, but it was on GChat, so you were all capsing them.
Yeah.
And it really did have the same effect as that sex text that I sent you.
Right.
It's a narrative that sounds murky and toxic, but one that Blink-182 mostly pulls off through the brightness and hookiness of DeLonge's guitar work. By keeping everything lyrically simple, Blink-182 is able to be catchy despite their darker material. And there's a few digs at some bad songs, but ultimately they say, while the sound has become tremendously influential, no band since has been able to make the nice guy, title case, so likable. For all the accomplishments the band had, this one may be the most impressive. So, Edward, in the end, you really did have a lit win.
I gotta say, I agree with this tweet that I found while trying to find Edward Litwin's own Twitter from the Harvard Crimson Art section, which is simply, this is the entirety of the tweet, Edward M. Litwin. So I agree with the Harvard Crimson Arts.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go ahead and cancel Harvard or cancel Litwin right now with this article and photo combination. And this is from the column called. This is from the column called Art's Vanity, a touch of levity in the Harvard Crimson. And the headline is, real music is dead and you killed it. And Harvard is like, I mean, I keep calling him Harvard. Litwin is sitting back in the chair doing like the thinking emoji face and he's wearing a Scooby-Doo t-shirt. And I've never wanted to pants someone in the quad.
Oh, no.
He needs to be hit with a bra bomb immediately.
Last week at a party, I submitted to the disc jockey a daring request. I inquired if he had the fortitude to play Lou Bega's Mambo No. 5.
Oh, I think this is about being an epic latroll. Because he says the DJ plebishly replied that the kids don't dance to that kind of stuff, and then he played LCD Sound System instead.
And the sheeple ate it up.
Sam, there's something that I am starting to believe in fully, which is pod magic.
Okay. Because
so many things have happened on the pod, related to the pod. I mean, we've talked about it so many times before, but I think it's real. And this is the thing that's making me think about it is...
Are you allowed to believe in pod magic, like, as a Christian? Or is that considered
I don't know.
idolatry?
Maybe I'm going to... Well, maybe pod magic is just sort of like God met. You know, the pod comes from God. So there you go.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay,
so you're just saying the pod's confirmed your belief in a higher power.
Exactly.
Whether that's God or pod.
Well, maybe they're interchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, a couple weeks ago, in the intro for Hey, I'm Sorry, for some reason I just said, hey, I'm walking here instead, like very stupidly.
Yeah.
It was like among the worst intros I've done, which is like really saying something.
Yeah, that's fair though.
But even I thought, yeah, like what is this even in reference to? But it's because I didn't know that it was in reference to the fact that 2 weeks later, with like 2 days notice, I would be flown to New York City for 24 hours. I went to bed like really late, and then I had to get up so early and go to the airport. And because it was such a short trip, I only packed like very, very strategically. I packed like half of a backpack of clothes. So I had one change of shirt. I also thought like, well, I've barely slept at all. I think I'm gonna like skip my B&T this morning and try to actually sleep on the plane for the first time in my life. And then like 5 minutes before we took off, I went and got a quad shot. My B&T, my coffee.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I heard B and T, and I was like, breakfast and toast.
Breakfast television.
Right, yeah. Sorry.
I know my BET. I need to watch BET every morning.
That's right, yeah. 106 in Park is the only thing that gets me going right.
No, so I was like, I'm going to skip my B&T, my Java, my Kofifi. Yeah. And then at the very last minute, I was like, no, fuck it. I need my quad shot Americano. I need my Spro. So I got a coffee, like, hop on the plane. I also got a breakfast sandwich, stuffed it down. And then as I'm sitting down on the plane, I see right across the aisle from me is this dude. Well, first of all, these Americans to the left of me, like, traded seats so that the girl could sit with her boyfriend, and then they were, like, making out and canoodling the whole time. So that was one thing. And then across the aisle from me was this guy who runs something from New York City called the Found Footage Festival. So I was like, okay, this dude is sitting right across from me. He's just walked by, and I said, yo, you're from the Found Footage Festival. And he pounded it with me. I was like, hell yeah, we're going to, like... I'm going to talk to him when he gets off. I'm going to tell him about the pod and tell him about all the fucked up videos that we find. And, you know, he might be interested. And either way, it'll be fun to talk to this guy because I had a lot of questions after the show. Cut to, and by the way, the people who booked my trip, bless them, flew me into Newark despite it being 24 hours. So I was flying to way outside of Manhattan.
Beautiful Newark. Home to Cory Booker.
I think something about Newark is like, the plane has to fucking dive bomb to land there.
It's not a joke, dude. Like, flying in and out of Newark does legitimately, like, kind of suck. Like, it's terrifying.
Yeah, so there was, like, all this, and then there was, like, tons of extra turbulence, too. And so I was wearing my red hoodie that I brought on the trip with my lightly packed bag. The dude from Found Footage Festival is, like, 2 seats back beside me, and then these people are making out beside me.
Were you dripping or not? Like, what was the sort of drip status?
I mean, I was like functionally dripping, but it was freshly washed. I was like so ready to coordinate it with my other items all weekend. And instead, I just like puked in my mouth, but it like sprayed out a little bit onto my hands and all over my hoodie, and my mustache and face was caked in puke because of how insane it was. And it was like literally like a loud belch that like, and then it like reeked like puke. Like there wasn't a lot, there was just a few drops on my arm, but it was like enough that everyone, I'm sure, knew that I puked all over myself on this plane. And so I started my 24 hours in New York like caked in puke, and I wanted to like tell everyone, but I was like, I probably shouldn't be telling people I meet that I only have one change of clothes and I puked on myself today. So instead, I saved it for the pod. And I even, when I texted Sarah, I was like, don't worry, I'll talk about it on the pod. And she's like, oh my God, this is your therapy. And it is.
You and I have managed to talk on chat and then for like 15, 20 minutes even before we recorded about various sort of things about your trip and just like the last week in both of our, you know, busy and exciting lives. And you have kept this just stinky secret from me.
Yeah, like it was truly not a lot of puke, and I swallowed most of it, but there was definitely a bunch on my sleeve. And then I like I immediately went to the Newark airport bathroom where there was like just like 40 middle-aged vacuum cleaner salesmen, I assume, and absolutely no sink pressure, and like a broken soap dispenser, and just tried to scrub the puke as best as I could. But I kind of had a bit of a whiff all weekend, I think.
But that's just the scent of New York, baby.
I've got some shit to show you in a second, but first I have to pee.
Okay.
Okay, one sec.
Yo, it smells good. Josiah's peeing, that's why I'm yelling at you.
Yeah, it's me, the three.
Oh my God, it smells so fucking good.
Awesome. Not ready yet.
Okay. Oh my God! CHEWBACCA died!
What?
Peter Mayhew died!
That's a real guy?
Yeah!
Damn.
Oh! I hate that the internet made it so I can't be sad about that.
What do you mean? You can't be?
Well, I just mean like, because it's like liking Star Wars is for assholes and losers now.
I mean,
Yeah, sort of frustrating last week, like leaving in the
Dude,
pee break.
what are you? I fucking told you I didn't have time to edit it, but then
Yeah,
you insisted that
but I sent you the time code. Like you knew to do it. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's just like,
Well, is it fine because you've been messaging me about it nonstop?
well, I just feel like I don't know. We can talk about this after we record because I don't want us to be like in like a bad mood while we we do the pod. But it's just like
But
I
when
did the
are we
research.
supposed to
Like I
talk
sent you.
about-
Like did you look at the research for this episode yet? Like 'cause
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like you're reading it on the fly.
I'm reading it. I am. I don't
Okay.
have time to do that shit. I have way less time than you.
I just
okay?
but it just
And
seems
it's also
weird.
like
It's like if you're
the-
doing the research and you're like, there's a bunch of covers and it's like.
Whatever. Like you didn't even say anything sketchy. It's not a big deal.
I honestly am so embarrassed that people know that I like Star Wars now. Like jokes aside, like
But
to you that's not embarrassing. Like to me, like I've built up a brand online over like several years.
Whatever. Look, just fucking start. I don't have the energy
Okay.
for this right now. Just start the episode.
Okay, so you've got. Okay, so are you recording now?
I'm recording. Yeah.
Okay, and you've got all the notes and everything. You're good, and you have like the other thing. Sorry. Okay, before we start again, which is just like, did you get the calendar with like the social copy and everything for like the next week? Like with the post for the
I
episode,
think so.
and all the photoshops and stuff.
I haven't cracked it open yet, but
Okay, that's fine. I mean, it'll be. I just wanted to make sure you got it and everything looked good. But
oh my god.
okay, let's
Yes.
just go. We good? Let's go.
Okay, start it.
Okay, you're recording.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to Blink-155, the internet's number one.
Blink-156.
Sorry. Okay. Welcome. You want to just do one of those like casual interviews where we just are like intros where we just started sort of like in situ, like, oh, so man, what a week, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so you start.
Hey Sam, what a week it's been since the last one we did. But anyways, back to sandwiches with acronyms.
Well, yeah, PB and J oftentimes, because I do eat peanut butter sandwiches somewhat regularly, and people often say, "Is there jam in there?" I say, "No." Well, PB and J is a fairly popular sandwich acronym.
So you just have PB, no
J,
sweet,
no J,
no J. You know what I fuck with a lot is PB and H. Squirt some honey on there.
That's good. That's good.
But anyways, so there's a new one, kind of like the BLT, kind of like the BELT that I'm really into. I just sent it to you. It's called. So it's what it is these are the ingredients. So follow along at home. It's bacon, lettuce, avocado, mustard, egg, iceberg lettuce, tomato, onion, nutritional yeast, mayonnaise, yams, yellow peppers, olives, unsalted butter, tempeh, and ham. And that one does a really good acronym as well.
What is that? What's that acronym, Josiah? So welcome to the internet's number one Blink-155 podcast, Blink-156.
That's both jokes in one.
Yeah, together at last. So the song bacon, lettuce, avocado, mustard, egg, iceberg lettuce, tomato, onion, nutritional yeast, mayonnaise, yams, yellow peppers, olives, unsalted butter, tempeh, and ham. Unsalted butter that's crucial. By the band Blink-182, their first song.
Every time we say the title, we have to do it.
You gotta spell it out. Or eventually,
No,
because,
I actually, for real, want someone in the niche to make the sandwich that goes with it.
oh yes, I bet this is.
I want
a
to see
good
pics
sandwich.
of the sandwich. It looks pretty good to me.
The official sandwich, because, we had a bit of a thing with peanut butter and banana sandwiches. So this is like the second time that there will be sort of sandwiches play like a crucial narrative sort of part of the podcast. So this sandwich is the first new song by Blink-182 since we started this podcast.
We've joked about this moment for so long, and we've sort of jokingly pretended that we begrudge it, and I think like also a little bit sincerely. Because we were worried they're not going to be dropping like more Fentoozlers or more Touchdown Boys. They were going to be dropping
Reebok
more
commercial, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be dropping more like fucking Long Lost Feeling or whatever, which is a song that I've grown to love by covering it. But
yeah, I was very genuinely dreading it because like I like the California and the California Deluxe episodes mostly because like they always end up going in some direction that is ultimately entertaining, and the sort of joke is like that I'm consistently surprised by the end about sort of finding something in it that I like, but I think it's mostly that I very genuinely enjoy this process, right? Like I find this to be, edifying and entertaining, right? But just the idea that we were going to reach a tipping point where, because we've been doing so many episodes, the latter half of this podcast was going to become heavily weighted towards material that I probably didn't like and didn't have a particularly strong emotional connection to, was like legitimately weighing on me. And I just was thinking like, how do we keep that entertaining? I mean, they've said they've recorded 40 new songs. And I was like, that represents such a statistically significant chunk of what's left in this project. And I just want to make sure that like, there's a very genuine, that's why you and I fighting was so like inherently ludicrous. And I was so kind of baffled by people's concern about our relationship, because like this is such a like joyful thing that we get to do.
And because we both know that it is definitely coming, but it's like not.
Yeah,
it's too early.
It's way too early. It's not fight season yet.
No, we're only just past the halfway point. That's for like the 3/4 point.
Yeah.
Or like when you're like writing a script, would it be the third act where we fight and then we make up at the end?
Yeah.
Like, I run after you in the airport?
Yeah, exactly. You had to get to the long night of the soul, which happens, I guess, midway through the third act, where it's like all is lost, and before Josiah runs through the airport for me.
Well, let's make it so you run through the airport, because I don't think you're going to have room on my credit card to buy a ticket
right.
to wherever's the cheapest place in your gate. Okay. So let's have you do that.
Okay.
But all of this is to say, we were very apprehensive about the song.
Bummed. And I knew, like, I think we
in
talked
fact,
that...
we even found... Oh, go ahead.
Please, no, you first.
Please.
You first, Josiah.
Please.
No, please.
Well, I was going to say, I think we channeled our nervousness about it into talking about it without talking about it.
Yeah.
And so I'm ready to finally admit publicly that the leaked snippet that we had on our social media channels the night before the song came out was actually something that I made.
What?
Yeah, just in like
holy shit, really?
In like 10 minutes. I literally just like put my acoustic guitar into GarageBand and used the built-in amps and downloaded some dishwasher sounds from freesound.org and
because it sounded exactly like Travis, that dishwasher.
I know. Okay, I can't really believe this right now, but welcome to Blink-156 to none other than Mark Hoppus.
Hello.
So we have spent so long making our branding and everything Blink-155 because we found some master song list that said 155, and then you had to go ahead and ruin it for us last week or 2 weeks ago.
Why? How did I ruin it?
By releasing another song.
Oh, wait, what was 155 before?
So our podcast is called Blink-155 because we found this master list that you guys have released 155 songs over the years.
We have.
And so now you've released...
Is that for real?
I guess so, yeah. I mean, that's what we're going off of. We have a master list. It includes like covers and stuff too.
Okay.
But yeah, now you've released number 156, so for now we're going by 156.
Oh, wow. All right. Okay, cool. Got it. Okay, 156. I'm in.
All right, sick. Well, I've already said on this episode, like, if you want to listen to punk music, there's an entire world of underground punk and hardcore that you can get into if that's what you want to hear. But I think that bands like your band that have been around forever should definitely be pushing the envelope and exploring new ground.
And it's also, Blame It On My Youth is the first track off of the first thing that we've released in, 3 years now. It's a peek into that world, but I think when people hear the record, they're going to have their minds blown because there's so much other stuff going on. There's really aggressive stuff. There's stuff that's probably even poppier than Blame It On My Youth. There's weird stuff. It's kind of all over the place. So I don't think there's one song that really represents the entirety of the record any more than maybe Feeling This does for the Untitled record.
Oh, God. Okay, the final thing I got to ask you, this is kind of, I think I already know the answer, but this has launched a very interesting philosophical discussion that's sort of run throughout the whole podcast, which is the death of the artist, whether or not the person who creates something then gets to entirely decide what it was intended to mean, or if the audience gets to decide the intention. And that is, early on, we saw somebody point out online that the name Dude Ranch works as a perfect double entendre for male ejaculate. And I'm just curious, was that an intentional move on your guys' part? Because you loved the puns back then.
It was not my intention, but now I wish I would have gone back and said, yes, that it is, because it's a really great pun, but it was not intended on our part. We have so much stuff in store. We are working so hard on Blink, and everybody's firing on all cylinders. There's been more discussion and phone calls and texts and ideas and songs written and things changed and ideas thrown around for this record than everything since the Untitled record. And it really kind of feels like that time where we're doing a bunch of different stuff and kind of venturing out into the unknown, and it's exciting.
Hell yeah. Sick. Well, thank you so much, Mark.
Yeah, if you have any questions on any of the other songs, always feel free to hit me up.
Hell yeah. Wait, 1 second. To talk about making it about you, the thing that is like, it's the elephant in the room. Everyone wants to know. Everyone's dying to know. Was this song on your iPod?
Oh, yeah, this song was on my iPod. Yeah.
Okay. It's like, I was
Absolutely.
like, I'm sick of talking about it, but at the same time, now I need to fucking know.
Yeah, no, so this song was absolutely on my iPod, but one of the things that it's actually interesting, I don't think I've ever really thought about this, but like some of what I think are like the only Junior Battles lyrics that I've written that I don't hate are things that are absolutely references to dreams, and I've always felt like, okay, if you kind of accurately capture that, it feels like you've added another layer between you and the real meaning, which makes the idea of like singing really earnest songs more palatable and not like quite as incredibly uncomfortable. And
right.
So reading this, like going through it again, I'm like, he's actually really effectively captured something that feels like it conjures like a very specific set of emotions, but in the most vague way possible. And so, despite the like finding strength to call and ask her, but even like the stuff about like the thing about driving his car off a fucking cliff. First of all, amazing fuck use. Like such
I agree.
Premium
like,
swearing.
Saying fucking is usually pretty corny and bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's, I don't know, that's on the verge of being bad, but for some reason,
it's so good,
absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's a amazing swear. But just like the whole thing.
And we're doing this the week of Cliff Wife too, so that's pretty cool.
Oh shit, that's actually it's Cliff Wife season. I guess it's just wife season, eh?
100.
100. Happy 100.
Yo, how do you say the 100 emoji out loud? Because that's how I'm feeling right now. Is like a really corny white guy.
I think
keeping it 100.
Yeah, you just have to say that. Unfortunately, that's the only way of acknowledging that that's what you're doing. Because if you say I'm keeping it 100 like that, people know that you're using the emoji in the whitest way imaginable.
Otherwise, people might not think that me, the host of a Blink-182 podcast in his mid-30s, is not a corny white guy.
They would have no idea.
I just don't want anyone to listen and think, damn, that guy is not corny or white at all.
Yeah, there's no way for me to tell what kind of person would host a Blink-182 podcast.
But I think we're going to just do some true bangers for the heads right now.
Yes.
And I'm going to start with, this is another thing we've been talking about doing forever, but I don't know if we ever will. Hopefully we will one day. But the BBC show All the Small
We got to
Things
do this one, yeah.
It's so good. I've already watched like the first 2 or 3 episodes with Sarah because we kind of got addicted. It's so like it has a similar plot development as The Room, where like things just happen and you're like, wait, what? Why are these two dating now? Or like there's just all these weird mistakes that feel like editing mistakes. It's very disorienting, but it's mostly about like a church choir that starts performing pop punk songs because the lady who runs the choir, her son is like completely obsessed with Tom DeLonge.
Right, yeah.
And so they start doing like pop punk songs, and so this is the choir. From and again, like it's not a comedy either. It's like a serious BBC
But
drama.
there is like a scene that I think you've posted on the socials a few times where like he's having kind of like a breakdown, and so she or a friend is like bringing him down to earth, being like, "What band is Tom DeLonge in?" And he's like, Blink-182, and it's like, "What does he play guitar? Like, what are his songs? First Date, all the small things." Like, and it's just like him reciting like coming out of an episode by stating Tom facts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think he might have like autism or something, and so that it's like trying to be a serious show about mental illness, but also about a choir leader whose husband left her for a younger choir lady.
Oh shit!
So there's like infidelity going on,
choir beef,
and then there's this like janitor who has long hair who seems really horny for the mom, but he sort of like is horny in a very creepy Tommy Wiseau kind of way, like he's very grinny, and it's so uncomfortable.
Don't grin when you horn.
And then they'll just break into things that sound like this.
What? They are on my age again. On the drive home, what? I called her mom. My age again. On the payphone, I said I was the cops, and your husband's in jail. The state looks down on sodomy. And that's about the time that bitch hung up on me. Nobody loves you when you're 23. And lost a more amusement.
13 Miles by the band Blink-182. Good fucking God, this song, huh? Holy shit.
This is one of those ones that we were not looking forward to.
So joke season is back, but it sucks this time.
We started, yeah. Everyone didn't hate it completely and complain about it endlessly last time, so we thought we'll bring it back and make it even worse.
Let's make sure that it's really sick this time.
What are we supposed to do? These are on the list. We could be editing the list and lying to you.
No,
maybe we should have done that.
Because you know what the problem is? Initially, it felt like no one was checking, and then there was something that happened around the time where I was like, oh, like there's an audience for this, and like this is cool. Where it also was like people would start saying, oh, I wonder if you have this on the list, or like I built my own spreadsheet and I have 156 songs, and you'd be like, what? Because they were counting like a live version twice or something. So it's called polyaccordism, but first I'm looking at a photo of someone with 3 balls. Wow. This is like dude, there are only about 200 known reported cases of having 3 balls. Like your grandfather is a medical miracle.
Now I'm wondering.
Do you know
if
where it sits? Because apparently sometimes the third one doesn't fall. Like you might have a third ball like kind of just like in your abdomen, like they just never fell.
I need to ask some questions about this.
I'm
also thinking I shouldn't have brought this up.
No, we're like airing your family's entire medical history on a podcast that a lot of people listen to. We can move on.
I'll try to find out. Yeah, I mean,
he's like there's a medical wonder. Of course he is.
Proud of it. Yeah.
Wouldn't you be? I would like. Immediately, it would be the first thing I'd tell people about myself. Like the beginning of this podcast was like, welcome to Blink-155, the only Blink-182 podcast hosted by 2 guys with 5 balls between them. Like it would be part of how we marketed this show.
Well, you could say.
This is so cool. This is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me.
It's body season because the pee pee poo poo exclusive just came out too.
Oh,
and
that's
I reveal a lot in there. Too much, I think. Even as I was collecting stories for that one, I was like, I feel very sick because I did it all in one day, and I was like, this is disgusting.
I am recording.
Me too.
Cool. Josiah, this is like the rawest we've ever started the pod.
Leave all of that in. You sounded so grumpy. You're like, cool.
I'm sorry. Cool. You know, I gotta say,
it is cool. Think about it. It's cool. I can record into my computer, and it sounds not bad. That is cool, Sam. Don't take it for granted.
I don't. You know, I think I take a lot of things for granted, a lot of my privilege for granted, but being able to record a podcast into my computer is absolutely one of those things. So yeah, no, we'll definitely leave in that realness off the top. Oh man, okay, here's some more. There we go, cracking the Red Bull. Just we should get a Red Bull.
You're having quite a week, it seems.
It's been a whirlwind time, man. So very last minute, I ended up in Atlanta, home of the Josiah drip, for like 2 days, and then I was in LA for.
Did anyone tell you that you were dripping while you were walking around?
I like in my head, I was like, I wonder if, but no, I assure you, no one even like thought it. But actually, something very interesting did happen to me in Atlanta. Someone asked me if I used to play football, which like we've talked a lot about my height. I don't know. It's just like one of those things where they were like, I was just like talking to someone. They're like, so like, did you play football? And I was like, what? Like, so sort of apropos of nothing. I think earlier maybe we had been talking about kind of like sports and stuff, and they maybe assumed that was mine. And you know, everyone is very aware that I'm like 4'1" or whatever is canon now on the pod.
Right.
But we've never really talked about my body type, like what that 4'1" kind of looks like. and I feel comfortable saying this, not a football player's body. So that's a weird one that I've been puzzling over for a while, to be honest.
You have anytime I've ever met someone who's been on TV before, they look like you in real life. Like, you just look like a TV guy.
Right. I'm just like,
you're not tall, but you just like proportionally make sense as a man, but you're just not tall. You're just a TV guy. That's all it is.
Right. And I dress, and why I've never been told that I'm dripping is I think we've discussed this on the pod, but you know, former guest friend of the pod, Auntie Donahue, consistently tells me that I dress like a sim, and so definitely no one in Atlanta is impressed by my sim style dress code. And then I was in LA for like 24 hours, and I flew in on a red eye this morning. Had a full day.
Did you puke on yourself?
I puked all over myself. That's how you know it was an official Blink-155 flight.
Don't like cash, don't like rap. Keep told Sally cause she's fat. I'm a jerk, I'm a punk. Took a shower cause I stunk. Smoked a bong, killed a cat. Had my nuts attacked by rats. Dug a nude or a thong. For a hobby, I make bombs.
Other than just bring things up, I feel like we're just really doing church announcements right now. And yes, there is coffee and refreshments for you to catch up in the foyer. So please bear with us through this last announcement, which is later this month.
Yeah.
We are doing another Blink-150 live.
Hell yeah. And where are we doing it?
Etobicoke?
Yeah, we're going to, so we're heading to the suburb of my birth. The illustrious Etobicoke, Ontario.
We're heading to the birth.
We're doing it at the Cloverdale Mall.
In Cloverdale, BC.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, we've talked about Cloverdale Mall in this podcast before. Because I
Cloverdale,
remember
BC,
That's appalling.
No, we're doing it in
Albion Mall. It's going to be the Albion Mall.
What? The Albion Ferry?
No, is that another? Jesus Christ.
Everything you say, there's something in the Lower Mainland that also has that.
There's only like 2 words that Canadians have, and we stole them all from like England anyway.
Yeah, like Kensington.
Yeah, everybody gets to Kensington.
Okay, you say what we're doing the fucking live pod.
We are going to Montreal, home of Jay Baruchel, and that's it.
This is not, again, this is not a joke. Just like the contest, you all thought it was a joke. We are actually going to Montreal on July 27th. 7th?
Yeah, 27th. So we're gonna be doing another live show at Turbo House, which is a truly sick venue. It's moved a couple of times. I feel like it's maybe in another location, but it's run by great people. We're actually gonna be right before a Heavy Montreal after party, and I have no idea what that entails, but it's probably gonna be super super sick.
And it's like the night after that 77 Montreal punk thing. Like,
yeah, we're accidentally in Montreal for like the gooniest punk shit ever.
And it's during JFL, so it's officially sponsored by all of those things. Welcome to Blink-155, the internet's something. It's our two-year anniversary this week. And in fitting with that, just how ridiculous everything constantly is, Sam basically can't talk, he said. Is that accurate? I mean, I don't want to make you explain. I feel this is like the joke has been that this is a prison sentence and that I'm trapping you in this, and literally you've made it sound like every time you speak right now it's agonizing pain, which is just an amazing metaphor for the whole pod.
It's very real. Yeah, like I didn't want to let you down. I didn't want to let the nation down on this important day. But also, not only is the pod a prison sentence, but also like you do all the work anyway. And so I figured I'd just kind of show up to kind of to nod, to laugh. Maybe occasionally I'll like type you like really like if I have something really complicated that I need to say. But yeah, I'm in an awful lot of mouth pain. I stayed home from work today. I'm like eating a lot of
can you explain it at all?
I
don't even really get it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is like too much information for anyone. But I do think we've had a lot of radical transparency on this podcast, so it's important. And I want people to know that I swear to God I am trying. But since I was like a very wee child, I've had a lot of problems with mouth ulcers, which is so glamorous, such a glamorous problem to have. And I'm on a eventually found a great drug that works, but sometimes it doesn't work, and I'm experiencing a sort of a tremendous flare-up, as the kids would call it right now. Like I have, herpes on my dick, but that's not at all what's happening. Anyway, I'm flaring up. My dick's fine.
You've been chewing too much chewing tobacco.
That's the big problem, right? And the chewing tobacco has a little shards of glass and stuff in it. So it hurts to talk. I'm sort of talking out of like one side of my mouth right now, and I was like, hey Josiah, do you want to know another unnecessarily intimate detail of my life? But it is Thursday. It's the day before the pod. We've had no time this week. There was no getting around it. We had to pod today, and that's like literally as much as you'll hear me talk this episode, probably.
Welcome to Blink-155. I can't really believe this. This is a dream come true. I've wanted to talk to you forever. We've got Justin Pearson here from 31G, from The Locust, from Swing Kids, from all kinds of shit. Thank you so much for coming on our Blink-182 podcast.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
For people like me who grew up in the suburbs and like, yes, I got into The Locust and I learned about cool things and I fronted like I was deep into Load Records for a while and I got into all that kind of stuff. But I also like loved like pop music and mainstream things, and there's a lot of corny shit that I liked when I was a teenager. When I'm looking at your life, I don't see what was your like embarrassing phase that now you look back on and you're like, oh, I was a dork.
I mean, to be honest, like it's kind of weird. Like this comes up often where like, the other day, like I had this new band called Death Club, and we were rehearsing. We were talking about doing a cover, and I was like saying that we should do we were going to maybe do an Oingo Boingo cover, and I was like, that's cool. And I was like, what about Britney Spears? And they thought I was joking, but I'm like dead fucking serious. And I mean, I don't think I'd really listen to like a Britney record or something, but like I think that like there's like cultural or like I guess historical relevance to what she is, and I was like, oh, that'd be cool. Like that would just be like really fucked up for like a thrash band to like incorporate her music or interpret her music in some certain way. But so I don't know. I kind of just grew up like going like, well, I like this shit and I also like this other stuff, and like I never knew what like the concept of cool was, and so like it's funny like hearing you say like you fronted that you were like really into Load Records. Like I mean I was also really into Load Records, but it's just weird to like I never knew that I had to like sort of like
well, I think
anything. I kind of was just like I'm into fucked up shit, or I'm like into like all these other random shit, and like I don't care what anybody thinks.
Yeah, for sure. Like for me, I think liking Blink-182 was for a while the most contrarian thing I could do with like friends and punk and hardcore bands. They're like, how could you possibly like this? Whereas I genuinely did like Load Records, but I had to like train myself to get into that. So it was like a hurdle for my brain as a teen or whatever.
Okay.
So basically what happened was Ice-T, the rapper / SVU star / whatever he does for body count. Like, is that rapping or is it more like Scott Vogeling? Hard to say.
Yeah, he's Vogeling.
Look, you've heard of voguing, but Vogeling is the real shit. So he tweeted this, look, especially at this point in time, I don't think you want to be quoting Warren Buffett to begin with. It just seems like you're not really reading the room, so to speak, if you're quoting
that's fair.
Warren Buffett with your success win kind of post. But not only that, he tweeted like this. I think the quote is too long to even be a tweet. Like, I don't know, I didn't count the characters, but someone else pointed out, I think this is too long to be a tweet. Not only that, it's from like a fake Warren Buffett account that's like the old, the real Banksy type one or whatever. It was like Warren Buffett HQ, not verified, completely fake. But not only that, he tweeted a photograph of a printout of this fake motivational quote from Warren Buffett. So it's a photo of a printed tweet. It says, "You will continue to suffer if you have an emotional reaction to everything that is said to you. True power is sitting back and observing things with logic. True power is restraint. If words control you, that means everyone else can control you. Breathe and allow things to pass."
Actually, I think it's important to note that while you were reading out your whole explanation there, I counted the number of characters generally across and just multiplied it by the number of lines down, and this is at least a 306 character fake tweet.
Right. Incredible.
From a problematic contemporary personality.
I actually haven't read it until now because it's so long. But I just was like, oh, this will be kind of, I don't know, it's like such a stock reply, but I thought it'd be funny, so I just wrote, did you print this out and take a photo of it? And then I like went and I was like on my phone literally all day yesterday, but then I was like, I'm gonna go do the dishes. I've just done some reply guying. I'm gonna go do the dishes now. And then like I went and checked my phone after, and everything was blowing up because he had shared it. And he called me. He said like, let me check. I have it here. One sec. He said like,
I thought you'd be more prepared, man.
He said, "Don't worry about that. Read the quote, dumb fuck." And so he manually shared it to his 1 million followers with that. And then people have been, for the last 24 hours, just ruthlessly dunking on me, sending me L gifs and whatnot.
It's important to note that his original tweet, like of the printed out tweet, has like 6,000 likes or whatever, and him calling you a dumb fuck like ended up with like 1,000 more likes.
Yeah, it's true. But then what happened was, so people were sending me L's. People from like the middle of nowhere with 30 followers were like trying to start shit with me. And most people, especially I think most verified accounts, would be like, oh, I'm going to rise above this. But I thought it was so funny that I was like fighting back with everyone. Someone was like, what are you what do you work at?
You love yourself. Most verified accounts would behave one way.
Well, that's it, because it matters.
Badass verified men.
Well, this is what happened. So I was constantly, someone was like, fuck. Okay, I'm not prepared at all. A lot's going on here right now.
Okay, it's
somebody.
I feel like you're still actively under siege from Ice-T fans.
Exactly. So somebody named Stevie Oakley said to me,
that's a fake ass name.
Yeah, I know. It's like a middle-aged wine mom, and that's who like comes to Ice-T's defense because he's like 60 or something. Stevie Oakley, this wine mom, said to me, "Are you the fucking Kinko's security guard? Must be sad to be so desperate for retweets and followers that you get to be edgy like some dumb son of a bitch." That was her first one. And then the other one she said was, "Who fucking cares?" She did an M instead of an N. "If he did it or not, you stupid bastard. Are you the Xerox police?" And she misspelled Xerox. So I replied, I fixed her spelling correction and said, I highly doubt that Ice-T is operating a Xerox photocopier in his home. Like, I was just, like, endlessly going for it. But the thing is, the problem is most people who are just, like, shit posters don't have the blue check. But because I do, Ice-T has had to read every single one of these replies. And so just moments before I called you, he deleted the tweet. The tweet's gone. And so I think
I just went looking for it, and I was like, that's why you're having to paraphrase it. You took a screenshot of that, right?
I did. So the tweet is, he deleted the tweet, but then since we've started talking on the phone, somebody sent me this. Ice-T literally just subtweeted me. 20 minutes ago, Ice-T wrote me while MFs are going back and forth talking shit on Twitter, and it's him on a boat. But literally, look at my reply to this, which is true. This is a photo of him on a boat, but it's not a video. Someone has animated the background of this so that it looks like he's on a moving boat. Like, what is going on with Ice-T's social media presence? It's just absurd.
It's so sick. And so you have written, did you animate the background on a photo? It's already got 5 likes, going to give it 6. And then Hot Chicken Daddy has replied, not again.
Shout out to Jeremy, friend of the pod. I'm really hoping that Ice-T will take the bait on this one, because I think him deleting the tweet shows that I won that round.
I think so, but the other thing is, like, Ice-T is, because of your blue check, also kind of having to mix it up with the nation. So he literally he's deleted the retweet of you where he dunks on you, which is a shame because it was incredible. But he has retweeted the Fentoozler, who wrote, "This account supports at final level in all beefs past, present, and future." And Ice-T quote RT'd it with "pow."
It's kind of weird that, like, everyone, including my own wife, took Ice-T's side. Because I wasn't even being mean. I was just curious why he's posting a printed out tweet.
Sarah's reply was just like Ice-T, like, "I'm sorry about this guy. He just always is starting shit on Twitter. Like, your wife came in and apologized for you to Ice-T."
I know, it's so fucked. But anyways, time. There was that New York Times article about, like, I don't know, some girl started a shitty podcast and it didn't work out, and somehow she got this huge New York Times spread. But then all these people were, like, talking about, like, how much work doing a podcast is and how, like, we don't give them enough credit. And they're, like, talking about how 15 minutes of storytelling podcast takes, like, I don't know, 10 years of research or some shit.
Yeah, it was that viral tweet was literally, I was like, that's fair, because, like, real good, like, I get that. It's like television, it's like any documentary, right? But it was like, it takes 5 editors. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. There were like 3 to 5 editors. I was like, what are you, like, that is inefficient. Like, that is some, like, Tommy Wiseau level inefficiency.
Yeah.
In your process. I'm sorry to say.
I mean, I was making fun of it because I was like, oh, it's not hard. You just fucking talk out your ass and everyone loves it and it's easy as hell. And then Sarah was like, okay, but the bags under your eyes are, like, turning brown. Like, you're so exhausted. Like, you're dying. And I'm like, oh, it's fucking easy. You just go on the computer. So, I don't know. But I think mostly I'm lost in the podcast discourse.
Forget your job for just one day. I wish it didn't have to be so bad. And it might be inappropriate, but seeing the way our band gets dropped out, yeah. I wish it didn't have to be so bad. But I'll play with fire, break the ice. And I'll play with the nuclear device. Something I regret. I don't want what I can't get. I wish it didn't have to be so bad. The 3 day theory's getting old. Everyone's getting left out in the cold.
Okay, our Hulu original series, the episode where the boat wasn't left tied up and it's floated away, and meanwhile the teen girl protagonist comes back to the dock and there's a empty bottle of pills and the captain is passed out at his desk and she doesn't know how it's going to end, and there's just sort of like these vignettes of all this tragedy and pain going on with this cover playing over top, and then the credits roll, created by Sam Sutherland and Josiah Hughes. Yes. Like, but that was, like, legit a beautiful cover, and I wanted to hate it, but it sounds so nice. What a lovely man St. Manville is.
That's sick. Has
he
done
his
other...
name is self-titled Manville?
I think so. Yeah, or maybe we'll never know. Maybe it's... damn. St. Man. I just wonder, like... And I do want to say, we talked briefly about the show, but I want to say like a huge thank you. If anybody listened to this came out, it was so fucking cool to be able to go to a place where neither of us live and have this like, you know, just like cool group of people that wanted talk about Blink, but mostly talk about, you know, like Jake the Snakester and like backyard dentistry and like all the stuff that we kind of talk about in the show. That's like really like taking a walk through like the last 2 years of our fucking lives. And I said this to you on chat, we did have like, you know, like Ashley and Sarah were both there. We had a couple of pals that were there, but there's like a lot of people that we don't really know or maybe only know through the internet. And like those are the people I wanted to talk to. Like after the show finished, like you and I just both, like, we didn't really chat with each other. We were both just like talking to like different groups of people that were there or whatever. And the whole thing was like, so, because it is like an incredibly one-sided conversation that at the very least, like me as the one who is like not running the socials is kind of engaged in here. And so to actually like be able to like make it a real conversation and not just like the meme about what listening to podcasts is like is like genuinely satisfying and really like just very cool and energizing. Like it was just such an incredible night, and Turbo House was so sick, and Sergio was so nice for letting us do the show there, and just like, I don't know, everyone who came out has my gratitude and appreciation, and I hope that we can do the show other places.
I want to dunk on you for being a sincere robot now, but I gotta say I agree, because it's like I've played shows in bands in Montreal before, and basically playing shows anywhere for me is just like an endlessly frustrating thing where not enough, it never feels like enough people came. And the pod is completely opposite. And similarly, I just got back from like mailing out most of the merch, and it took so fucking long, and it was so much work because people are actually people are buying it, and I'm like, wait, I've made merch plenty of times in my life, but I've never known that you have to do things if someone buys it too.
Right, this is a totally new world.
I thought merch was something that you make so that you can move from one closet to another whenever you move apartments. Wait, are you the older brother or the younger brother?
The older brother, come on.
Yeah, it's just whenever you talk about your sister, I feel like you have really younger brother energy.
Fuck off. I do not. I'm clearly a big brother. That's my whole vibe. There's also some great content to come out of you and I being together. Was we took a photo in front of Turbo House with the crusties of the pod, which is like an incredible sort of contingent that we are blessed with. And I'm standing on like a step. And so I look like not freakishly tall, but like a tall guy. And it was like nice to imagine like what it would be like if like how much respect I would command. And it, like on every platform where that was posted, someone's like, for a second I thought Sam was tall, and then I realized he's on a step. And I was like, fuck off, everyone.
You could probably get some sneakers with platforms in them or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna start wearing like, you know, creepers or whatever. Like creepers are tall. I don't know. Welcome to Blink-155, the most seeker-sensitive Blink-182 podcast on the internet. Maybe the second most. I don't know. Some of the other ones are.
Whenever you do that, it ruins the idea. And this happens every time we say, "Okay, let's not do inside jokes the whole time." But calling it seeker-sensitive is, I think, an inside joke.
Okay, but what I was thinking
specifically for evangelical Christians,
I would make a joke as a nod to the true evangelicals amongst us, and then we'd move into a fully seeker-sensitive episode. Like, no one's going to turn off the episode. Now they have. But no one, previous to you fucking this all up, Josiah, no one was going to turn it off in the first 2 seconds, and we could have just moved on, and then everyone would have known that we knew. And instead, it's a whole thing now. Should we start again?
Okay, well, if you want to do like a hat tip to the true heads, what would you say? Like, what do you think is your hat tip to the true heads?
I already did it, man. That's it. Don't ask me. I'd be like Jake the Snakester. Like, I don't know anything that happens in the podcast. I'm so on the outside of pod culture.
You really are. You just kind of swoop in. You I don't know.
I'm like
I can't even think of like.
I'm like a cool uncle. I'm like I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm like the divorced dad. Like I don't want people to know what's coming up. Who like just gets the kids on weekends and like takes them go-karting and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like I just get to be awesome, and otherwise I'm out drinking with my friends. Like I have the most perfect relationship to this project.
That's true.
Can we mention the fact that like you're literally moving into a nation apartment in Montreal?
Yes.
Okay, so then we can leave that in. So, like, this is how, like, in terms of the sort of, like, tendrils of the podcast, like, I just had the pleasure of hanging out with the hair editor when she was in Toronto for wrestling, and now you're moving into, like, a nation affiliated
Yeah, we're taking
apartment.
We're taking over Kristen and Matthew's lease in Montreal. So, yeah, it's, like...
So wild.
It's fucked because it is, like... There is very blurred lines between friendship and pod. You know what I mean? It's like these people don't feel like our fans or whatever. It feels gross even to say that. They're just like our friends.
Like at this point, like I mean, there are people that are like, yeah, part of this whole thing, and this is like every time I get like emotional and sincere after we've done a live show and I've like had too much of the pen before we pod, where I'm like, we are all best friends. Like every one of, and then we like make a sarcastic joke about how like nah, just kidding, we just want your money. But it's like no, we are best friends with all of you.
Yeah, that's kind of the same thing between interrupting and being awkwardly silent. Is it's hard to find that equilibrium.
No, I don't know what the middle
just...
ground is. The middle ground to me is like if you are listening to this, like we are tight bros forever. That is just our relationship.
I'll kill. Yeah, hey, if you're listening to this right now, I'll kill for you.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
Everyone listening to the pod gets one kill from both Josiah and I. So that is
so two.
That's 2 kills.
No,
so
we'll
use them wisely.
we'll both do it so that we can sort of like have an alibi and cover it. So it's 1 kill between 2. You get half a kill from each of us.
Yeah, half a kill, but like one, but no sign because we are good at covering our tracks because we're probably amazing contract killers.
I think I'd be pretty bad at it, considering just sort of generally like trying to find the car insurance sheet so I can sell the car or those kind of things. They're lost everywhere. I mean, maybe I'd be good as a hired killer because the path I would leave behind would be so like disastrously messy that they would be like, we're never going to figure this out.
Right. Or it would be so obvious that they'd be like, well, this person's obviously been set up. Like, who would murder someone with an Alfred E. Newman Funko Pop and then try to sell it on Facebook Marketplace? Right. Still fresh.
Covers Blink-182, but there's sort of like, there's just like a group of people who are like aggressively normie. I think that like one of the girls is wearing a Pride t-shirt. I think maybe there's, you know, an LGBT element to the video, but it's not very clear. But in general, there's just something that feels very voyeuristic about it again.
It feels like I'm spying on someone's improv class, like, but first improv class.
Yeah. Yeah, even the way they're sitting on the couch is like very improv.
Yeah, it's like where's a scenario where people might be jammed in real tight? I know, making a music video for your Blink-182 cover.
I think there's a sketch element, maybe, but this only has 237 views. It's just very... Everything about this song has just brought out a very bizarre energy in the universe.
2, ready, 4.
Smelling the perfume in a magazine while lip syncing.
The lip syncing is so sincere, and there's like a lot of eye contact with the camera, which is not comfortable.
I think the premise of this video is that there's not enough room on the couch. It's like a very 1993 premise for a video.
You know, but this would have been the best video of 1993.
It's true.
I don't hate how this sounds, though. I usually really like how it sounds. I don't like Day 1 improv class. That's about it.
Yeah, actually, especially the music's produced really nicely.
Yeah.
It sounds very... But what a truly strange video.
Yeah, it was...
Like,
I eventually just clicked away from it. I couldn't really handle it anymore.
Like, why does this song bring out such bizarre intimacy? Whether it's this video or, like, the weird eye contact sounding harms or just the intimacy of knowing what's in someone's garage.
Yeah, like, I don't know what's in your garage. I don't ever want to know. It would be too much for us.
I mean, I didn't like the song that much. It's okay. There's cool parts about it. But I was like, whatever. But the song has given me what feels like the classic experience of just feeling bizarre and disgusted by the internet and feeling very tired and scared, which is a feeling I missed from the pod.
Yeah,
so
I feel like
I like it for
it's
that.
been a while since we sort of tapped into this like incredibly specific emotion, and maybe I missed it too, which like that's fucked up. It's the Stockholm Syndrome episode.